Here is the map of China. To the north is USSR. This is India. And here is Japan. We sailed from Bombay via Colombo to Hong Kong, from where we took the train to the border, 22 miles distant, and thence to Canton, another 80 miles. Canton, capital of Kwantung province in the south. Population 1,600,000, is situated on the Pearl River. It is the principal port of southern China and a big export center. Has many historical parks and monuments. This pillar in the Yushui Park and this memorial hall are dedicated to the great leader of the Democratic Revolution, the late Dr. Sun Yat-sen. The Overseas Chinese New Village, built from money subscribed by returned overseas Chinese and their families. After 2 days' stay in Canton, we proceeded by train to Peking, the capital. Distance 1,200 miles. Journey time 45 hours. The trains in China are comfortable and clean and usually run to schedule, but top priority is given to freight trains. Each compartment has a loudspeaker. Programs consisting of entertainment, news and propaganda run the whole day. There are only two classes, the soft and the hard. Traveling by either class is expensive as compared to India and is not encouraged unless necessary. Judging from the train, it is true that flies have been practically exterminated. The first glimpse of the countryside gave us the impression that every inch of land has been cultivated. Thousands were at work all along the route, building roads and railway tracks, digging and cultivating. We reached Peking on 31st August in midsummer. From the station, we were taken to the city's leading hotel, the Peking Hotel. Most government guests, foreign delegations and visitors stay here. Peking has quite a number of other modern hotels, among them the Tiananmen Hotel, the Friendship Hotel. From one of the highest points in the city, we got the first bird's eye view of Peking, with its lakes, sylvan parks, pavilions, and picturesque roofs of the imperial palaces inside the one-time forbidden city. Peking is one of the largest cities of the world, population 6 millions. An important feature of modern Peking is its wide streets and many handsome new buildings. The Post and Telecommunications Building, Radio Peking, the Planetarium. Some of the main roads are wide enough for 4 cars to go side by side in either direction. But car number, and so traffic jams are unknown. Avenues of trees planted along most of the streets are a common feature throughout the country. Every Chinese, we were told, is expected to plant at least 80 trees. We are now nearing Tiananmen Square, where big political rallies and National Day celebrations take place. Tiananmen, the Gate of Heavenly Peace, is not only a building of historical interest, but is now the heart of the People's Republic of China. The National Monument of the People's Heroes, erected in 1949, bears an inscription in gold letters in Mao Zedong's calligraphy. The People's Heroes are immortal. Around the base are friezes depicting heroic deeds of freedom fighters over the past 100 years.
These flags fluttering full-mast on the Tiananmen heralded the officially sponsored mass rally known as Taiwan Day. Taiwan is the Chinese name for Formosa. 500,000 people gathered to demonstrate and shout slogans pledging the liberation of Taiwan. The members of the International Students Association who had come to Peking for meetings were given a rousing welcome. Premier Zhou Enlai, who came later, received a great ovation.
The Victory Gateway Tower, built 400 years ago. The greater part of Peking still retains its old-time character. The main and modern shopping center is the Wangfujing Street. Most of the retail shops are still jointly owned by the government and the original owners. Prices and profits are strictly controlled. This system is being gradually replaced by full state ownership. The Peking Department Store, the largest in the capital, is state-owned. The prices are higher as compared to India. 1 Chinese yuan is officially equal to 2 Indian rupees, but in actual buying power it is worth 80 naya paisa. The Summer Palace, once private property of the emperors, is now the largest public park in the outskirts of Peking. The park covers 823 acres, 4/5 of which is a lake, where people boat amidst picturesque old-world surroundings. About 100 ancient buildings lie scattered throughout the park. This marble boat was an emperor's excuse for appropriating the naval funds. The Peihai or North Lake Park, with its imposing white dagoba, was built 800 years ago. Half of Peihai is water. Boating in summer and skating in winter are popular pastimes. The 9-dragon screen in colored tiles is one of the attractions of the park. The dragon is the traditional symbol of strength and good fortune. This modern plaster sculpture is symbolic of the toiling peasants who can move mountains to build a reservoir. The park has a recently built open-air theatre with a roof. The auditorium seats 1,200 and the stage is very well equipped. We saw here our first Peking Opera. The theme centers around 2 generals fighting a battle, showing the art of pantomime in opera, somewhat like our Kathakali, interspersed with excellent acrobatics. The generals are wearing elaborate costumes. If present-day battles were fought like this, we would not dread them as we do now. It might even be amusing. The scene now shifts to the bearded general's fort. The gate is closed by the defending army. The enemy uses acrobatic tactics and enters the fort. The rest is easy victory. Our embassy is in an elegant part of the city, a handsome building owned by our government. Our distinguished ambassador, Shri G. Parthasarthi. The imperial palace is 530 years old, with their great inner courts and halls, golden roofs, marble balustrades and bridges, and magnificent bronzes, are a unique architectural group in the heart of Peking. The bronze tortoise, symbol of longevity, and the crane are seen in many historical places. This painting portrays Mao Zedong's poem, "The heroes of the present are greater than those of the past." The Hall of Supreme Harmony, once the throne hall, is the largest wooden structure in China. The palaces today house museums with various art treasures. Pottery exhibits of 2000 BC. White engraved bronze urn, 816 BC. Colored glazed pottery, 7th century AD. Exquisite Cloisonne vases, 15th century AD. Porcelain vases, same period. Magnificent jade carving, Qing dynasty, 19th century. Carved urn of green jade, same period. Picture in solid gold with jade leaves on the trees, same period. Gold ornaments used by Qing emperors, 19th century. In contrast is this modern sculpture of a worker holding the universe. The Temple of Heaven, 500 years old. Here, emperors worshipped heaven and prayed for good harvests. The interior, over 100 feet high, was designed according to the ancient belief that the heavens were round and the earth square. The magnificent structure is built on 3 circular marble terraces with golden top and triple-tiered blue tiled roof. The Temple of Broad Charity is a religious center for Buddhists in Peking. The majority of the Chinese are Buddhists, but today, though the present regime does not encourage religion, it tolerates worship. Very few worshippers are seen in the temples, mostly old people. Built in the 12th century AD, it has beautiful statues of the Buddha and his disciples, sacred paintings, and other relics. This golden miniature stupa contains a tooth of the Buddha. The Lama Temple in Peking, built in 1744 during the Qing dynasty. A huge statue of Tsongkhapa, the founder of the yellow sect of Lamaism. In another hall stands the 75-foot-high sandalwood figure of Maitreya, the coming Buddha, carved from a single tree trunk. Temple of 5 pagodas, also Buddhist, was built 600 years ago on the lines of the Bodh Gaya temple. Friezes are carved with figures representing Buddhist and Chinese symbols. Here again, the tortoise base, representing longevity. Peking has a few old churches. This is the cathedral. A mosque. The capital has a small community of Muslims. The design, different to the mosques in India, is influenced by Chinese architecture. The Muslim population in China is 6 millions, the majority of whom live in Xinjiang, northwest China.
Tsinghua University, built in 1911. It has considerably expanded in the last few years with an enrollment of over 10,000 students. Formerly, it was a composite university. Today, it is a polytechnic college specializing in 11 branches of engineering. Great stress is laid on physical culture. Colleges all over China today are residential and co-educational. The Institute of Iron and Steel Technology is a new setup with a student body of about 5,000. From the top of the main building, one gets a panoramic view of the entire new educational district in the western suburbs of Peking. There are in all 16 universities and institutes, with over 60,000 students all told. This steel rolling shed is an extension to the Iron and Steel Institute, being built by the students themselves in their spare time. Girl students work side by side with the boys in all activities. Students building their own native-style iron and steel furnaces. 100,000 such furnaces function all over China. This steel smelting workshop is used by students for practical experience. A girl on an overhead crane follows the nationwide policy of learn and work. During vacation, teachers and students go to the villages to help the small industries to develop. A number of small factories have been set up by China's universities and colleges. The funds generally come from spare time earnings of teachers and students. The revenues from these factories go to supplement the monetary grants of these colleges. Students also attend theoretical courses in mathematics, engineering, and allied subjects. Peking University, the oldest in China, established in 1898, has 8,000 students. There are quite a few Asian students from countries like Outer Mongolia and Korea. Several Indian students are learning the Chinese language and studying Chinese literature. The dramatic arts, music and dance are encouraged in the universities. Students perform for us the flower and youth folk dance of Qinghai province, depicting the welcoming of spring and the awakening of love. This swimming pool in the campus grounds was dug and built by the students themselves. The Central Institute for National Minorities in Peking is an establishment which trains personnel for government cadres in languages, economics, political science, and the history of their own provinces or autonomous regions. Part of the work of the institute is to improve old scripts of the various national languages, some of which have no written word. China has 46 national minorities, which form 6% of the whole population. A room in one of the dormitories. Students all over China do manual labor. These students are working on the institute's farm. In their classes, they learn Leninism, Marxism, and the creeds and policies of the country, besides their other subjects. There are different sections in the dining rooms, catering to national peculiarities in food. Rice is the staple diet of the majority, and eating with chopsticks is common to all China. All students have to learn in Chinese the political song, How Good is Socialism? The Afro-Asian Students' Sanitarium for TB, started by the China Federation of Students, has accommodation for 288 patients. A few Indian students can be recognized here. Every city in China has an open-air stadium. Peking has several. This one is the largest, seating 80,000. The football match between Afghanistan and China. China won by 20 goals to 3. Premier Zhou Enlai leaving the field after meeting the players. The Peking Gymnasium. It has 3 main buildings. The central building has basketball, volleyball, tennis, and badminton courts. The gymnasium can seat 6,000 people and has giant electrically controlled scoreboards. Basketball is the national game of China today, popular with both sexes. The indoor swimming pool, also a part of the gymnasium, is 164 feet by 65 feet, accommodates 2,000 persons, and is air and water conditioned for all the year-round swimming. The swimming competition in progress is between Russia and China. The Russians won all contests except one. The third hall in the gymnasium is for training in various sports. The wings have modern equipment for physical culture. This exercise is very much like our lathi drill. Sword play is a recreation of a classical dance. A common sight in many cities in China are these parachute towers, 177 feet high, meant for civilians.
Coming to the cultural life of Peking, Professor Kwang Ping-hu of the Chinese Research Institute for National Music plays for us on an ancient harp, a 2,000 years old composition called Flowing Water. Peking Studio of Chinese Traditional Painting is a research center. Only advanced students are admitted. Notice the traditional method of holding the brush. Professor Yu Fei-an is an outstanding painter of birds. Professor Wu Kuang-yu is famous for his portraits in traditional style. Professor Chen Pan-ting, 84 years old, is China's leading painter in brushstroke techniques. Artists in China are full-time employees of the state. They are often sent to the villages to paint wall posters. Even top artists are very low paid as compared to those in Soviet Russia. The majority of the subjects today are on contemporary life or nation-building activities. Striving for the upper reaches symbolizes the slogan, exert all efforts. The big leap forward. Construction of the Ming Tombs Dam near Peking.
The actual completed dam, 1,900 feet long and 95 feet high. It is an earth dam completed on 30th June 1958. The reservoir will irrigate 50,000 acres of land. The following shots, lent by the kind courtesy of the Peking Film Bureau, show the actual scenes of construction. It is claimed that 400,000 people, 100,000 at a time, completed the dam in 160 days, working round the clock in 3 shifts a day. Mao Zedong, Chu Te, Liu Shaoqi, Premier Zhou Enlai, and other top leaders took part in short stints. The labor was contributed by people from all walks of life: students, servicemen, office workers, peasants, doctors, artists, and so on, who were released by their organizations for 15 days or more at a time, receiving no extra remuneration. The painting depicts the celebrations on the completion of the dam on July 1st, 1958. Under construction is the village for the families displaced by the building of the Ming Tombs Reservoir. All vehicles drawn either by animals or human beings have rubber tires. A hutment of this type will accommodate 2 families.
The Ming tombs, not far from the reservoir, were built between 1368 and 1644. The tomb of Emperor Chengchu consists of several pavilions and halls, situated in gardens with ancient pines and cedars. Beautiful designs decorate the walls and ceilings. These massive, solid teakwood pillars are each from a single tree. The grave is actually hidden under these trees to avoid pilfering of buried treasures. The parks around these tombs are now picnic spots for the people of Peking. These wise old men, inmates of a home for the aged, have come on a Sunday excursion. One rarely sees these charming old men and women around anymore. Leading to the tomb of Emperor Chengchu is this avenue, with a guard of 36 stone animals and court attendants. Meet Asha, the elephant presented a few years ago by Mr. Nehru to the children of China. This elephant seems to be enjoying himself, lacks the climate of China. Giant pandas are rare, found only in Burma, Thailand, and Southeast China. They eat only tender bamboos brought all the way from South China. Amusing, aren't they? China is the home of many exotic fish, especially the goldfish. A conducted tour of the zoo for the children of a nursery school. Children are well looked after by the state and receive special attention in their training. Peking has several well-equipped children's hospitals.
Posters play a great part in the life of China, and one sees millions all over the country. This says, "Destroy the fly to avoid disease. Be strong and healthy with exercise." Done in colored tiles, this permanent poster illustrates the slogan, "The big leap forward in all directions." Let us rejoice at bumper harvests. Exert all efforts in building socialism and destroy old superstitions. How good is the People's Commune? We must liberate Taiwan. Salute to the people of Lebanon struggling for freedom. Cultivate the spirit of communism. If we can repair our trains, why can't we make them? Rejoice at bumper harvests and over-fulfillment of industrial production. We must produce 10.7 million tons of steel in 1958. To see the industrial progress of China, we visited the All China Industrial Exhibition. This striking building, built originally by the Soviet Union for their own exhibitions, was later given as a gift to China. We were told that 50,000 articles, including models and charts, were on display in the 15 large halls. China's progress in the manufacture of consumer goods, and particularly of heavy machinery, has been quite considerable, as can be seen in some of these exhibits. Power generators, television cameras and receivers. Peking has television. Cinema cameras. Appliances for atomic energy. Equipment for drilling oil wells. Complete chemical plants. Heavy presses. Steam generators. Earth-moving equipment. Mechanical harvesters. Steam locomotives. Electric locomotives. And the first 5 models of cars to be produced later. Next day, we visited a textile mill. Peking Textile Mill number 2 is one of 4 such mills in the city. It has 130,000 spindles and 2,500 looms. We were told each weaver manages 30 to 40 looms. The mill has 5,000 workers, of whom 70% are women. The average wage, we were informed, is 50 yuan a month. Opposite the mill is the big colony of workers' quarters. The rents are very low, ranging from 2 to 4 yuan a month per tenement room.
The home of China's most famous Peking Opera star, 65-year-old Dr. Mei. Besides being the president of the Peking Opera Theatre and deputy of the National People's Congress, he holds many other important positions in the cultural world of China. His impersonations of women's roles are famous, especially that of the drunken beauty in the opera of that name. The theme of this opera is that one night an emperor's favorite concubine, known as the Beauty, is expecting a visit from the emperor. On his way to her house, the emperor remembers another one of his 3,000 concubines and goes to her place instead. Disappointed, the Beauty starts drinking to drown her sorrow and gets completely drunk. Dr. Mei has immortalized this role by his subtle portrayal of the inner tender feelings of a woman's heart. cultural exchanges between the communist countries are common. A dance performance by the Song and Dance Ensemble of Azerbaijan, a Muslim Republic of Soviet Russia. Discarding of the veil by women of Azerbaijan. A wedding folk dance.
Village in a commune, a word used frequently all over China. We visited the United People's Commune of Shushe County, 60 miles from Peking. Consists of 7 communes comprising over 200 villages, population 310,000 people. What is a commune? A commune differs from farming cooperatives in that it combines agriculture, industry, trade, culture and education, and the militia into one unit, and takes charge of its political, economic, cultural, and defense programs at the same time. Under this system, everybody has to partake in every type of activity. We saw a few tractors off and on. The rice crop has been increased by deep ploughing, close planting, lots of chemical fertilizer and manure, and adequate irrigation. These fields, they claim, will yield 6,000 to 10,000 pounds per acre. Besides rice, they grow keoling, a type of millet, and this is buckwheat, another food grain. Cabbage is the most widely eaten vegetable. In cooperative farming, there is no wastage of land caused by fragmentation. Milk has never formed a part of the diet in China, as it has in India. Lately, children are being encouraged to drink milk, and livestock is being improved to get better meat. When mechanical aids are not available for the boring of tube wells, this indigenous method is used. The motive force is manpower. The steel borer is made in the commune workshop. These tiny tots sing national songs. They are trained for life in a commune in their nurseries. Everyone drills at dusk and dawn each day, but these are the commune militia. Millions of people from every walk of life all over China have been enlisted in the militia and are being actively trained. The everyone a soldier movement is spreading even to the remotest areas. Young people in the militia units combine their regular work with drilling and study. These peasant militia, some marching with muzzle-loading guns, are on their way to work. In the Hopai province, in the north alone, they say there are 7 million militia men and women. A small laboratory in the Commune makes fertilizer for use on the land. A battery of native-style iron and steel furnaces in the making. The native-style method of producing iron and steel consists of heating iron ore or scrap iron in furnaces at high temperatures. Combustion is maintained by blowing air from an electrically worked pump. The pure iron in the ore melts and is channeled into molds, slightly larger furnaces producing iron. The slogan here says, "Discover the secrets of nature and gain happiness." Both Chinese and Roman scripts are used. The Commune factory consists of a small foundry and a casting section to make simple tools and machines. Here are about 1,000 young overseas Chinese sent from different cities to live in the Commune and learn and work here.
We are back in Peking. That night we saw a performance by Chinese artists and musicians of the famous Russian ballet The Swan Lake, produced under the supervision of Russian experts. Korean dance, performed by the eastern section of the Peking Dance School.